Welcome inside another edition of Vikings Update. I'm Mark Potts, Sports Information Director at Valley City State University. Our guest later on in this week's show, Casey Olney, head coach of the Viking baseball team. His squad coming off a series victory over Mayville State, 7-5 now in conference play. We have our first golf results of the season and a big national qualifying mark for Viking track and field to tell you about. That all comes up right now. We open this week's show with baseball scores from early April. Viking baseball hosted Winnipeg for a 4-game conference series. Home openers for the Vikings. Big win to open the series as VCSU took Game 1 11-0, but Winnipeg edged the Vikings 2-1 in the second game, salvaging a doubleheader split. It was more of the same on day 2 as VCSU won big 19-9 and Winnipeg won small 7-6 as Vikings and Westman split the 4-game series. Moving on to this past weekend, baseball hosted Mayville State for a doubleheader on Saturday. Comets took Game 1 7-2, but VCSU righted the ship in Game 2. RBI double by Jaden Miller gave the Vikings an early 1-0 lead. VCSU starter John Vance cruised through the first 6 innings as VCSU held a 2-0 lead. After the Comets rallied to tie the game at 2-2 in the top of the 7th, Andrew Hirsch pitched out of a bases-loaded jam as VCSU turned a 5-4-3 double play to keep the game tied heading to the bottom of the 7th. That set up a walk-off win for VCSU as Nate Bagby drove in the game-winning run for a 3-2 victory, salvaging another doubleheader split. It was the 5th straight conference doubleheader split for the Vikings. On Monday, the Vikings finally broke that streak, though, as they swept the Comets during a doubleheader in Bismarck. Andrew Frank and Tyler Olson combined for a strong pitching performance in Game 1, and then Jordan Ruse pitched a complete game in Game 2 as VCSU defeated Mayville State 6-2 and 7-2. Vikings are now 14-22 overall and 7-5 in conference play after taking 3 out of 4 from the Comets. Busy week of home games for the Vikings, who host Winnipeg on Wednesday for a non-conference doubleheader. Those games will be televised by Beck Broadcasting and streamed online at VCSUVikings.com. This weekend, VCSU hosts the number 3 team in the nation, conference foe Bellevue University, 4-game series starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday at Charlie Brown Field and noon on Sunday. Moving on to Vikings softball, we'll start with their home openers earlier this month as VCSU swept Viterbo University by scores of 6-1 and 3-0. On April 5th, Vikings hosted Mayville State for a pair of games that were televised by Beck Broadcasting. Mayville State won Game 1 4-0 to hand VCSU its first conference loss of the season, but the Vikings bounced back in Game 2. Kathleen Galley struck out the side in the first inning to set the tone, and then the VCSU bats took over from there. Simone Meerkirk put the Vikings on board first with a 2-run single in the second inning. Katarina Boychuk broke the game open with this round tripper, opening up a 6-2 lead for VCSU in the fourth inning, and then C.J. Hillhorst added a deep solo home run as VCSU finished with 11 hits and 9 runs in a 9-3 victory. Vikings were scheduled to play 4 games at Dickinson State this past weekend, but weather only allowed a doubleheader on Saturday. Pair of close games, both went to the Blue Hawks, who are ranked number 15 in the country, by scores of 8-6 and 4-3. Viking softball now 23-8 overall and 7-3 in conference play, sitting 4th in the NSAA conference standings. Vikings are on the road for a pair of non-conference games at Mayville on Wednesday. Vikings then back home as they host Bellevue, which is currently 11-1 in conference play, at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Viking track and field had its second outdoor meet of the spring Saturday in Bismarck. Malik Jackson took first place in the 400-meter dash for the second straight meet to lead the Viking men. Andrew Hanratty took second in long jump, just 3/4 of an inch off first place, and Dylan Thomas placed third in the 110-meter hurdles. Big day for Siri Geisler on the women's side, qualified for nationals in javelin with a monster throw of 43.44 meters or 142 feet. 3.44 meters better than the A qualifying standard, and it is currently the 3rd best throw in the nation. Also placed her second at the meet. She added a 3rd place finish in shot put as well. The big day for Geisler earned her another North Star Athletic Association Field Athlete of the Week honor, announced Tuesday by the conference office. Track and field back in action Friday at the Dickinson State Blue Hawk Games. Viking golf had its first meet of the spring last weekend in Dickinson. Strong showing as 5 Vikings earned top 10 finishes. On the men's side, Ben Sorensen led the way, 4th place finish at the 36-hole tournament. Kyle Wiebe placed 6th and Tyler Bockel came in 9th. Viking men placed 2nd as a team. For the Viking women, Haley Christofferson and Nicole Heinitz both had top 10s. Christofferson placed 7th and Heinitz was 8th overall. Viking women placed 2nd out of 3 teams as well. VCSU Invite will be played this weekend at Crossroads Golf Course in Carrington. 36-hole tournament, 18 holes on Saturday and 18 more on Sunday. Joined on this week's edition of Vikings Update by Casey Olney, head baseball coach here at Valley City State, and coach. Viking baseball coming off a series victory over Mayville State, won 3 out of 4, including a doubleheader sweep on Monday. Talk a little bit about that series and the way the guys played.
Well, it was a good series for us in that, we came out and we really got beat the first game and battled out for a hard-fought win in game 2. And then yesterday we really played great baseball. All 3 phases, the way we swung the bats, pitched, played defense. The defense was outstanding, not just making routine plays, but making some big, difficult defensive plays that saved us. And happy for the guys to come out and be consistent for 2 games and actually 3 games in a row, if you count Saturday. So it was a positive.
Pitching-wise, on Monday, 3 guys threw 14 innings: Andrew Frank, Tyler Olson, Jordan Roos threw a complete game in Game 2. Talk about the job they did.
Well, they were outstanding. They did a good job of limiting the freebies. They made the other team try and beat us, and that was great. When you do that, you get in a rhythm. Your defense is on its toes, and it kind of snowballs into a lot of positive things. So, outstanding job by those guys.
Team's now at 14-22 overall. You're above 500 now in conference play at 7-5. This point in the season, how do you feel about where the team is at?
Well, we're in the mix now in the league for a decent seed in the conference tournament. None of that is solidified. We have a lot of work to do, and we have some very challenging games coming up. Number 3 Bellevue, number 10 Jamestown in our next 2 series. So we're in the mix. We're in the hunt. We're not where we want to be yet. And we're going to have to try and beat some very tough teams. And I think if we play well, we'll have a good opportunity to do that.
You're halfway through the conference season, 12 games remaining, 8 of those, as you mentioned, against top 10 teams in Bellevue and Jamestown. This weekend it is Bellevue University here at home, Saturday, Sunday. The Bruins, one of the top programs in the NAI. What do you know about them?
We know they're going to be solid. We have not played them in my time here, right. So we don't have that kind of background, but we know they're very good. They pitch it, they hit, they play well in all phases of the game, and basically it's a really exciting opportunity with the league the way it is now. We have an opportunity to play some of these teams, and make a statement if we can. So it's we're looking at it as a good opportunity for us to continue our growth.
All right, Coach, appreciate the time. Your team in action Wednesday against University of Winnipeg non-conference doubleheader. That game on Beck Broadcasting, those doubleheaders, and then as well this weekend hosting number 3 team in the nation. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck.
Thank you, Mark.